Good blessed Monday night, March the 9th, 2021. It's about 9:19 p.m. I'd like to greet all human beings all around the world with a universal greetings of peace and the blessing of God be with you. Doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor your religious beliefs may be. It doesn't matter if you're the richest to the poorest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter if you the proclaimed toughest to the proclaimed weakest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter whether you are my family, friends, nor my proclaimed enemies. It doesn't matter whether you like me or not. It doesn't matter what your nationality, your color, your skin is, whether you're young or old. I greet all you all day. Same universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. Tonight, it makes, I believe, 143 days since my son's death, Brian Lamont Johns. 143 days since his death. And as I told y'all, if you've been following this here, on March the 19th, 2021 in Carbondale, Illinois, in the 400 block of Oakland Streets in the Gaslights apartment on the 3rd floor in the hallway, my son's body was found hung. I said lynched. What I want to talk about today is, I give it to the pathologist, I believe it's maybe his clerk, Miss Charlene. When I went down there, I believe on the 5th to Murphyboro, Illinois, she gave me everything that she assumed that was the pathologist in the coroner. The coroner is her boss. She assumed it was all of their paperwork for the autopsy, the death certificate, and the deputy coroner, Sam's Brian, B-R-Y-A-N, same spelling as my son's first name. His last name is the same spelling as my son's first name. But she assumed that she gave me all the paperwork last week. But when I called her back after I looked and seen that the toxicology test wasn't there, I give it to her. She told me, she said, Mr. Ivy, I'm going to look, because that's all that had gave her. But she looked and she found it, and she told me she was going to mail it out. And I can see she mailed it out on the 5th. It hit the post office, I believe, on the 6th. And it got to me today. And I think, did I get it today? Yeah, I had to get it today. I believe I got it today. The toxicology test. Either today, yeah, I think I did get it today. But she's on her job. Now, the same day I filled out a thing for the Carbondale Police Department to have them to give me, it was the Freedom of Information Act, to get all the records concerning my son's death, in Carbondale. And I know a few people that filed it by emailed and taking it to them, giving it to them in person is almost about the same. Even they're giving it in person, they got it right then and there. They didn't have no place for me to put a date, so I put the date on there, August the 5th, 2021, and asked her to make me a copy at the police station, the Carbondale, Illinois Police Department. And I have yet to get a response like everybody else done got. They said that they denied giving them the records due to there's an ongoing investigation. I've been checking my email. I haven't had any missed calls from the Carbondale Police Department because they have my phone number. The chief have it. The coroner have it. All of them have it. They have my phone number as well as my email and in my address, and I haven't seen anything. But the coroner, she got right. The coroner's clerk got right on the case. I give her more credit than I do the coroner and the deputy coroner. Never met the coroner itself, but I met his deputy coroner once. But what I want to show y'all now, the first one that was on the scene was this guy, Sam Bryant. Well, he was the first one from the coroner's office. As far as the coroner's office, the first coroner department people that was there. And he has right here is 1, it says one through, it's real small. It got 1 through 5, and this is 1 through 5, and this is 5 of 5. Now, if you take a good look, this is his last page. What professional gonna fill out a report, a coroner's report, and look at this? You don't see nothing signed. You don't even see a date. You don't see it on any one of these papers that he has. Anywhere that he done signed anything, you can see right here where it got the place for the date. It has his name on here. It's had his title. You see what I'm saying? But you don't see no date on it. You know why? I'm going to tell you why. Because he claimed that he examined my son's body. And let me show you how I know two key factors that he didn't examine my son's body. He was the first one as far as the coroner department that came to the scene. The sergeant that bees everywhere, Guy Draper, when it comes to my son, he was there. In the Jackson County, paramedics was there. Now, I told y'all before in his report, he said that the Jackson County, where he was called to the scene on March the 19th, 2021 in the 400 block of Oakland Street in Carbondale, Illinois, that a person had hung themselves. You remember I told y'all in the other video, how could the paramedics and a beat sergeant can determine when they come on the scene of a person hung, how could they tell that he hung himself unless witness told? I talked to the two people that told me they found his body. I don't know if they hung him or not, but they told me. I spoke to them, went through their one door, they let me in their house, went in their door, went one door and came out the other one where they said that they seen him laying in the hallway, they could see his legs. Now, if did nobody see him hang himself, why would the coroner and the beat, not the coroner, but the paramedics or EMTs and the beat sergeant, why would they tell the coroner that they have a person that hung themselves? Now let me check. I'm gonna check. Show you this here. Now let me see. I want to show y'all something where this deputy coroner said he examined the body. I want to get to where I can find it right quick. Let me see. Come on, find it. Okay, I think it's right here. Okay. Let me see. Okay, on this, let me see. Yeah. Okay, I want to read this part first. This is the coroner saying, after he done said that the paramedics and the beat sergeant told him that they have a black male that hung himself. We know the only one that know who hung, if he hung himself, is him. He's not here to tell it, or somebody else that put him up there, or somebody else that witnessed it. But look at this here. He says, let me see where it's at. He said on the March the 23rd, 4th, 2021, I, Sam Bryan, spoke with Raymond Ivy, father, and I ain't gonna say her mother, my son's mother name, at the Carbondale Police Department. Mr. Ivy asked it for specific details about his son's death. Listen to this real careful, y'all. This is the coroner now on the 24th, 5 days after my son's death. You remember on day 1, they said he hung himself. I explained to Mr. Ivy that I came to the conclusion that it was self-inflicted, pending the toxicology test. Pending. Ain't no autopsy. Ain't no toxicology test back. But he said pending the toxicology, and if the toxicology doesn't show any impairment, then we would move to conduct an autopsy. I'm going to tell you the man is lying. Because the man told me and my son's mother to our face, and she'll be a witness to it. And I would like him, just like that line
chief of police in Carbondale, that line sergeant in Carbondale. I would like all of us to take a polygraph test and see who passed and see who failed. He said if the toxicology test come back impaired, he said that he gonna move to get an autopsy done. His intention wasn't doing no autopsy. His intentions was cremating my son because he went to my son's mother by herself and asked her to do that. But on this report here of his, these 5 pages, he talked more about me than he do about my son's death. You know why? Because he trying to clean up after they watching my YouTube videos, because he's saying that the things that I said, he's countering that. You see what I'm saying? He ain't got no dates on here when he filled these out, because he had to listen to my YouTube first. Because this should have been filled out either on the day that he came to find my son, or at least about the 25th or the 24th, because I made my first YouTube video on the 24th of March, and that's when the coroner went with me, him and one of the students from the Merited Funeral Home, a black female, I'm not going to say her name. They came to the scene with me and my 2 daughters, and Sergeant Draper got on camera. But the student, the black female student, and the deputy coroner, they didn't want to get on there. And when I told him it's going to be on my YouTube, he asked me what's my new YouTube channel. So he watching it. So as he watching it, once y'all get a copy of his report, you will see he's talking more about me because I'm setting him out. You follow what I'm saying? But let me show you something else that he ain't going to be able to clean up. Now, okay, where did I end at? Okay, he said that he was going to move to do an autopsy. We know he wasn't going to do that because I told him we want an autopsy. We're not going to burn my son's body. But let me show you what he said after that. Okay, let me see where I'm at. I want to make sure I get the right one. Okay, he said these is the facts that he concluded that it was suicide. He said a factor was due to statements that Brian had made at the hospital. He talking about on March the 11th, 2021. He said due to the statements that Brian made at the hospital, and there was no other trauma present at the time of examination or any plausible evidence suggesting that he was placed there. You know, why would he say he was placed there? Because he watching my video saying I said that he wasn't dead. They moved his body. Somebody moved his body from one place to another. But let me tell you about the examination he said he did. He said up under the completion of the examination. Now, what examination did he do? He said it wasn't no trauma, right? No other trauma. You see what I'm saying? Now, let me show you what the pathologist, she gonna contradict what he said, because let me show you what the pathologist said. let me try to get to it right quick where y'all can see it for yourself. You see what I'm saying? I want you to be able to see it for yourself. Look what this says. This is the pathologist report. Sharp and blunt injuries. And let me tell you what it was. I don't want to show you all of it. He had blunt injuries to the first, and I believe it was the 8th rib where they was fractured. It was hemorrhaging up under the 7th rib, internal. You see what I'm saying? But he said upon his examination, he didn't do no damn examination. You know why? Because if he did an examination, see, he can't change this stuff now. That's why he didn't put no dates on it, but he can't change this here. He said on the completion of the examination, I want you journalists, I want you other people that got common sense, that ain't biased, ain't racist, and ain't no sellout blacks. I want y'all to read his report and read hers. Most of her stuff, she going with science, what she seen. You see what I'm saying? She got to go with that. But then she going with what they said. He's suicidal. But see, they didn't, on this thing, she said that she going on what the hospital record said from March the 11th, 2021. What he said. You see, it's what Sergeant Draper said. The sergeant that was on the scene where he was found hung, which I believe may have something to do with it. The police department. Some Klan and some black Negroes out there. You see what I'm saying? That's working hand in hand. That the police is letting these black criminals go out here and kill people, beat them. My son was beat. It was on his knees and his thighs. The coroner ain't got none of that in there. He had bruises on his knees and his thighs. You know why the coroner didn't see it? Look at some of my YouTube videos. I said he didn't do no examination because when he opened the body bag, I seen how incompetent he was because it was money balled up in his hand. He ain't got that in there. She ain't got that in there. The money that was balled in his hand, he ain't got that. He pried his hand open and took that money, them dollar bills out. In her report, she said the money was on the right side of my son's head. He can't hold money on his head. You see what I'm saying? But see, if he'd have did an examination, he would have seen that my son's ribs would have been fractured. You see what I'm saying? If he'd have done an examination, he would have seen bruises on my son's knees and his thighs as if somebody drug him. You see what I'm saying? Let me tell y'all something about me, man. God give me a special gift. You see what I'm saying? To seek out stuff that's hidden. You see, if I'm seeing this little stuff right here, imagine when we get all the paperwork, when you see the pictures of the hanging, you look at this coroner's incompetent report speaking about Raymond Ivy this, Raymond Ivy that. Raymond Ivy is not the one that's dead. I'm alive. I'm Brian Lamont John's voice, and y'all can't stand it. You see, if my voice is gone, I got 3 daughters. You see what I'm saying? I got 5 grandchildren. You see what I'm saying? And a great-grandson. You follow what I'm saying? And some family members that'll step right in my footsteps. But let's get back to the message at hand. Now, why did the coroner have to find change in his pocket? I mean, not the coroner, the pathologist. She said when she got the body, the blue body bag, it was unsealed. She said the money was in his hand. Now this is what I asked the pathologist on March the 24th when I seen the body. They didn't want me to see the body. And I'm glad I did see the body in the body bag, and I'm glad I seen some of the pictures where he was hung at. Because when you see the pictures, you see this coroner's incompetent. My 16 and 15-year-old daughter could have wrote a better report than this guy is. I wonder what type of degree he got. Where did he come from? To say after his examination, there was no more trauma. There was no trauma. He didn't mention this here, but she did. She covering her tracks. He didn't mention there was blood on my son's pants in the front. He didn't mention there was blood on the back of my son's pants. He didn't mention that. He didn't mention what I seen for my own eyes. They can't turn it around. It was blood on my son's gym shoes. He ain't got that mentioned in damn one of his reports. All it's talking about is Raymond. Raymond said this. We tried to accommodate Raymond. You don't have to accommodate me. God got y'all, boy. God got y'all. I don't care how much education you got. I ain't got nothing but a associate's degree. You see what I'm saying? But I got a PhD when it comes to doing investigation for God. You see what I'm saying? I've been called and sent to set out Ku Klux Klans, racist white folks in positions like y'all, sell out blacks. And you blacks out there that's poisoning our family members. You black out there shooting and killing our people. It's my job to expose y'all and get y'all out of the way. And I don't care who don't like it. You see what I'm saying? Because the Bible tells me there's no weapon formed against me that would prosper. Psalms 23 tell me, as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I won't fear no evil because God is with me. His rod and his staff, they comfort me. They prepare a table before me when I go up there to the police station. He prepared a table before me in the presence of my enemies. State's attorney's office in the presence of my enemies. These sellout blacks, NAACP, and the president of my enemies. But he anointed my head with oil. My cup running over. See, they don't know what it mean about it when the cup run over. When the cup running over, that mean I got angels. I got rams in the bush everywhere. You see what I'm saying? So when I go down there, I don't feel no evil because he said, as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. That means I'm going to complete my walk. But let me get back to the message at hand. I hope y'all listening. Why don't this man he's the coroner now. And why he didn't find the little white baggies of drugs in my son's socks? You know why? Because he probably so racist, he didn't want to take my son's pants off. He didn't want to take his drawers off. He didn't want to see his private, I guess. The pathologist, she did her job. You see what I'm saying? She found the drugs in his socks. But he said after completing his examination, what type of examination you did? You didn't take his shirts off because they was already off. And so y'all said, I don't know if this white female is working hand in hand with y'all because the way she found them shirts, ain't no way my son took them shirts off and laid them down there real comfortable. Hold on, y'all. Let me lay these around here real comfortable because this white girl gonna come and lift one of them up. You see what I'm saying? And then separate them and take pictures of them. She gonna find my mask downstairs. She gonna conveniently find the axe downstairs. See, that blunt trauma could have been that axe. Somebody hit his rib. He had a cut on his hand. All the way down to his tendons. It was cut all the way down to his tendons. They want to tell you that he broke out the fire extinguisher. How you gonna break it out? Even if he broke it out like this, it wouldn't be no straight cut like an incision. But then he had bruises on his lips. He had bruises on his head. He had bruises on his shin. And me and some of the other people in the medical field say he probably was dragged. The deputy coroner said rigor mortis was already set in. If rigor mortis already set in, what the heck is the paramedics gonna put some electric things on him to try to get a heartbeat if rigor mortis done set in? Rigor mortis done set in. You ain't finna get no heartbeat. He dead already. That's what you call a parent DOA. He dead. When Leviticus and rigor mortis done set in, you dead already. But let's get back to this here. This coroner report gonna eat this pathologist report, even though she's saying that she felt it was suicide too. You see what I'm saying? She mentioned the blood on his pants. Did that go to the Illinois State Police Department? On the front and the back? You see what I'm saying? Them bruised ribs, that blunt trauma to the ribs. Wonder where they came from. Oh, I guess they came when he hung himself. You see what I'm saying? He said, well, wait a minute, before I hang myself, let me beat myself on the rib. Let me beat myself. Let me beat myself. All them drugs found in him. Methamphetamine. Antidepressants. And a couple of more. All of them, and they want to say, well, he got a history. See, the lady would tell you, you reporters, when you want her name or you want to talk to her, I'll get with you and we'll talk to you. That lady would tell you on March the 11th, 2021, that when they called for somebody to come help my son had told them he's afraid to go outside. He wanted to go someplace to get long-term treatment. He wanted to get off of them drugs. He wanted to get away from Carbondale because he was afraid. He was afraid. This was on March 11th. But when they ain't going to tell you, when he went from the 11th, Carbondale wouldn't keep him. So somebody took him all the way to a place called Touche. I guess going up towards East St. Louis, some type of mental facility. Now that's the last trace they can get. Then, all of a sudden on the 16th, Touche let him go. He come back to the Samaritan house to get his wallet, and he tell the lady that his friend won't give him his food stamp card back. The police ain't got the white woman and the guy, you see what I'm saying, her black husband, you see what I'm saying, that that had his cards, spending his money, feeding their kids. But that's another story. When you look at these reports, the lady don't have in her report, because they didn't give it to her, that he had blood on his gym shoes, because his gym shoes wasn't there. When they brought the belt, I told you the body, when she said a blue body bag, when it was delivered to her, it was unsealed. In other words, it was contaminated, because when the coroner took the money out, why would you take the money out of his hand? You know, she didn't put on her report that he had to pry the hand open to get the money out, because they didn't tell her that. You see what I'm saying? They didn't tell her that. Also, they didn't tell her about the gym shoes, because he didn't have the gym shoes on. He don't have nothing about what he found in my son's pocket. Go, if you was doing your job, you would have tried to see who he was, going in his pockets and getting stuff out. Just if he took time to pry his hand open. How do we know the money that you took out of his hand is money that you got rid of because you and the sergeant or the police department and some of these other criminals out there that might have killed him? The prints may be on the money, so how we know you ain't put some more money in his hand? Or in the body bag? What would you put it in the body bag for? Why didn't you put the belt in the body bag? Why didn't you put his gym shoes in the body bag? Why didn't you put his shirts that you found in the body bag? You know why? Because y'all trying to clear up something, but you ain't gonna clear up nothing. As long as I live, see, I got other people in the Underground Railroad, they watching y'all. Let me show you how much they watching y'all. This past Saturday, I believe, what is the day? The 9th, baby? So Saturday had to be around the 6th, wouldn't it be? Let me see. 8, 9, about the 7, 6, 7, or somewhere around there. But this past Saturday, y'all remember the video where the bike was up there where my son hung himself at and all them plants? The bike left when I got to putting the bike on my YouTube, asking why they ain't got that in the state police lab or their lab to see if any blood or fingerprints on it. Then all of a sudden the bike come up missing. But guess what's missing now? In that same area. All the plants and all that other stuff was up there. It's missing. But guess what else missing? The whole family that live in that apartment moved out Saturday. We don't know what their destination is. You follow what I'm saying? But the Indians that lived in there, not the one that found the body, but the Indian lady and man that was living in there and the elder lady that was living in there, they've been living there 3 or 4 years. Underground Railroad in effect, y'all. Harriet Tubman taught me something with her spirit. See, the same evil she was fighting against then is here now. But then we got it worse because you have people that's claiming to be a part of national advancement of colored people, groups and organizations. They working hand in hand with the white supremacists. They working hand in hand with the evildoers. You see what I'm saying? But let me tell you, them people done moved out. They gone. I wonder why all of a sudden, after 3, 4 years of living there, they gone. See, I made a few stops up in there, and I seen them. We talked. You see what I'm saying? But let me show you this here, y'all. I want y'all to read these 5 pages that he got. And you don't, if this all you got to do to be a coroner, this man talked that 90% of this stuff is about Raymond Lewis Ivy. I ain't the one that's dead. I'm the one that's exposing y'all. The same with the chief of police. He said he didn't say my son had demons in him. Now I want them to explain why this lady can get this paperwork to me. You know why? Because I asked for it. That's their job to ask for it. You follow what I'm saying? You know why they ain't in no hurry to get it? Because they thinking that they going to work hand in hand with some of these racist white police and the sellout black that they have, the only black they have on there, that try to do something to set me up like they did before with some of these ignorant black guys is starting to trying to attack me to get me out of the way because I'm exposing corruption. But see, the ones that they had trying to get me that they called themselves tough, one of them is facing life in prison for putting contracts on other blacks. You see what I'm saying? Couldn't do it for himself, but putting contracts on black. And the other tough one, he was in and up. He told the people that I'm a snitch. See, I ain't no snitch. I'll tell you, show my cameras. I'll tell you if you do a crime in front of my house, I'm gonna give it to the Illinois State Police. Don't do nothing in front of my house. That ain't no snitch. I'm telling you what I'm gonna do. You don't commit no crime in front of my house. You see what I'm saying? But the other guy that called me a snitch, guess what he in federal protection because he done told on all these guys that thought he was a killer. You seen him on camera, him and the other one, the other tough one, you seen him on camera threatening me in front of my house, and the police, the Charleston police didn't do nothing, just like the Carbondale police. Y'all finna be exposed. I'm gonna go for right now. But I want y'all can go now. If the police don't want to give you their reports, you see, another thing about that death certificate, it was certified June the 23rd, 2021. Now, on the death certificate, it got a spot saying, when was the last time that Brian was seen alive? You know why they got it blank? Because the detective told me, I think the night before my son was allegedly found hung, that he went into some elder white people's house, and they called the police, and it was on their camera, but they didn't want to press no charges. Then they said they seen me. I said, how I know that's their belt? Then he said that the same detective said, well, we got him on camera coming up to the police station, and you can see the belt in them t-shirts. If you can see the belt in the t-shirts, and then the elder white couple called the police and said that he was in their house and they didn't want to press charges, that should be on record because they called the police whether they wanted to press charges or not. And that would be on the death certificate the last time you seen him alive. Because the last time you probably seen him alive when y'all killed him. You see what I'm saying? When y'all killed him. That's the only reason I can see that you're trying to hide something, that y'all got a part in it. And if you do, I ain't a violent person, but I am one to seek justice. I don't care if it's the chief of police, if your police is covering up, because if the chief, if you lying, and I'm going to ask you tomorrow at the city council meeting, believe me, I'm bringing people to watch outside and the inside because me and my daughters don't trust y'all. You see what I'm saying? I know you're plotting. Because if you lying about saying that you didn't say my son had demons in him, and this coroner lied and said after he completed a examination of my son's body, see, the only way you can complete it, if you'd have took his clothes off, you'd have found the drugs in his socks. Had you took his clothes off, you would have seen the marks on him. And I want to know one other thing, Coroner, and I'm going to leave it at this here. You told me his body temperature was 76 degrees when you took it on the 19th. We know for sure that you didn't take his pants or his shorts off, his underwear off. How did you take his temperature? When you get a chance, put it in your report. Put it in your report so we can see it. Show us what examination you did. Show us that you find that money in his pocket. Show us that you find the drugs in his socks. Show us that you see the bruises on his leg, in his knees. Show if you seen the blood on his pants, on the front and the back. Show us if you seen the blood on his gym shoes. Hey, if y'all clan down there, I'm finna break you up. I don't need an army. You see, before you could put something around my neck, my son had blunt trauma. Y'all would have some blunt trauma. You try to put something around my neck, you try to do something to me illegally, I'm going to put some bruises on you that you're going to have to go to the hospital. Because I know y'all cruel. I know y'all cruel. I know y'all killing whites too, but it's just so much racism, and it's a shame you got people like the NAACP 143 days and they ain't mentioned nothing about my son. They ain't mentioned nothing about that school teacher in the 200 North Block of Sycamore at that rebound Charleston High School that been spending my son's food stamps, and that high school is right down the street, on the same street where my son's shirt was found, on the same street where my son's wallet was found, on the same street around the corner from where my son's body was found. I'm gonna expose y'all. And those of y'all don't like it, I'm really disappointed at every leader or every person that call themselves a leader in Carbondale, Illinois, that don't see nothing strange about my son's death and ain't speaking up about it. And if y'all notice, some of y'all I took out of my son's, the group, Justice for Brian, because y'all claim to be activists and leaders, and all y'all telling me is, well, people would help you, but you talking about the black leaders. I'm going to continue to talk about the black leaders. The black leaders, with the exception of, they know who I'm talking about. You got some black people down there that's doing their job, underground and out front. But the black leaders that's got them positions, y'all give some of them positions that don't even live in Carbondale. But y'all tell me, how is the coroner missing pertinent stuff like the fractured ribs, internal hemorrhaging, I believe around the 7th rib, trauma, a little blunt trauma, injuries to the face, the lips, the nose, the chin. I'm gonna tell you why that axe that they found may have something to do with it. But I'm going to leave for right now, y'all. Give you something to think about. 143 days. Some of y'all said, well, tell me something new. I told you something new now. All you got to do is get these reports yourself. Get the toxicology test. Get this. And then when you get the police report, see, they watches my stuff. But see, one thing about it, the pathologist ain't too smart. I don't know how much education. If he went to SIU, I would be ashamed to say he's a graduate from there, because he got more about Raymond Lewis Ivy in here than he do about my son. You did an examination, but you didn't find the money in his pocket. You did examination, you didn't find drugs in his socks. You didn't see the bruises. All you seen is enough to try to say he committed suicide. Y'all don't want to talk to that lady. You didn't tell that pathologist about that lady that said she told him the only way you would get admitted to the hospital is you tell him you want to commit suicide. You ain't have him talk to them 2 ladies that said he was afraid on March the 11th when he did finally go to the hospital. He was scared to go with Sergeant Draper and that other police. Why was he afraid to go with the police? When you call the police, people should be glad to see the police. He wasn't glad to see Sergeant Draper. Sergeant Draper, let me tell you another thing, a beat sergeant. He happened to find a footprint in front of 400 Oakland Street, and the sergeant, when he was showing me the gym shoes, he tried to go past the one with the blood. I said, go back to that. I said, what is that on there? He said, well, we think it's blood. He said, you see the back of the gym shoes? He went off the blood thing. You see the back of the gym shoes? Don't that look like that? I said, I don't know if it looked like it or not. I ain't CSI. Who is y'all CSI? Y'all help me try to find out who is the CSI for Carbondale Police Department, because something is wrong. And my thing tomorrow is to ask the mayor and city council, can you get somebody independent, get an independent prosecutor, because I don't want this prosecutor looking into it, because he said that these are some good guys. They doing a good thing. But it's too much stuff in this, in both of these reports that just don't add up. How do a coroner leave out that it was blood on a man's pants in the front and the back? How do he leave out drugs in his socks? I'm gonna leave it alone, y'all, because I try not to go too long, but I want y'all to just follow me on this here. Somebody murdered my son. He put in here, there's no sign of somebody bringing him there. What will make him say that? You know what will make him say it? Because he's seen my YouTube. Keep on watching it. Watch this here. Let's see what y'all gonna have for the city council tomorrow. Why y'all didn't get these here. Peace be still.